It is I, TZ Von Savage, and we are back up in this thing. Welcome to the Keep It P podcast, where we take news, situations, and everyday occurrences and show how one could or could not be keeping it P. And today we will be discussing reparations bills face obstacles from Governor Gavin Newsom in legislature's final stretch. That means, let me break that down for y'all. Just in the title. Here we go. We almost gave it to y'all. And psych! We was just playing with you, black people. You really thought we was going to give you some reparations in a voting year? Nah, we don't give y'all nothing for your vote. You know what you get for your vote? Nada. We have nothing for you. We have something for everyone else. We have something for immigrants. We have something for Asians. We have something for the bussy LGBT community. We have something for the Indians. We have something for everyone but black people. We have something for everyone. But for you darkies, we have nothing. Fair use YouTube.
Reparations task force will be back at work in Oakland. The members are meeting about how to make financial restitution to Black Californians affected by the legacy of slavery. That includes the government seizure of property, the devaluation of Black-owned businesses, housing discrimination, homelessness, mass incarceration, and over-policing, as well as health impacts.
Not just cancer or diabetes or blood pressure, but the stress of being black in these communities.
Hold on. Are you lit? What does this lady know about being black in this country? The stress of being black in this country. Do you hear her talking? How long you think she been here to tell you about the stress that you have suffered, black people? Are you listening to this foreigner, this immigrant, tell you about your black American experience, your foundational black American experience? She's trying to tell people in her broken English, in her tetheringo, with whiffs of cheetah pea, she's telling you about the stress that you Negroes have experienced. No, ma'am, the only stress you experienced was fleeing. The only stress that you have encountered is what it feels like to be a coward, ma'am. You left your people behind. To do what? Come fight our fight that we don't need your help? Because you ain't fighting it right. You don't know how to fight. You know how I know? Why you didn't fight where you from then? Huh? Why you didn't fight over there? So I need your help over here to help me non-fight?
Color of your skin, even without having a particular health outcome. Color of your skin, even without having a particular health outcome, being burdensome within itself.
Now, one woman from Oakland described how her family was displaced when Interstate 980 was built.
We were given nothing in order for us to move on.
Real FBA right.
We were forced into East Oakland, which was the only place we were able to live.
Notice
we
the
weren't
difference
allowed
in
in
talk.
other communities.
And the group is also debating how to calculate the amount of money that should be paid and who would be eligible to get the money. Several more meetings are expected before final decisions are made.
The U.S.
Much more meetings.
Reparations task force will be back at
we
work
need
in Oakland.
more meetings.
The members are meeting about how to make financial
Did you hear that?
restitution.
We need more meetings, more boards, more meetings to find out that we owe y'all. And now we went through all the meetings, we went through all the boards, all the obstacles. It's ready to be signed. You've done all the research. Now, what's the holdup in the final stretch, Gavin? Buster Newsom, what's the problem? Huh? What's the problem? This is what happens when we put our faith and trust in the busters. You got a committee, a board with no one that sounds like you. They say they look like you because they donkeys, but look at the hairline check. Are we doing hairline checks around here? Are we doing outfit and style checks around here? You can clearly see their style ain't the same. You can clearly see the hairline test is never wrong. We did the hairline test, and you, sir, are not FBA. They got 2 bills meant to help repair harms committed against Black Californians are facing headwinds in the waning days of the state's legislative session, including from Governor Gavin Newsom. See, that's who's standing in your way. The measure Senate Bills 1331. Do y'all know about these? We're going to talk about these and break them down in later programming. So Senate bills, it's SB 1331, SB 1403, would create a new agency, more agencies, and also a fund to help implement policies recommended last year by a first-in-the-nation state task force on reparations. Y'all was so happy about that. Y'all was excited, ecstatic. We got a task force. They gonna look at it. They gonna research. And so with this talk is how you're like, go vote for that sister girl Kamala. Go give us some votes. She twerked and gave us booty cheeks for our vote. No policies. I gave you booty cheeks. And Little John, yeah. Senator Stephen Bradford, a Democrat, we know, from Gardena, a member of the task force, wanted to bring up the bills on Wednesday, but they have stalled in the assembly. Why? We got the votes. Why? Why is this stalling? You know what don't stall? When you're giving money to immigrants. You know what don't stall? When you're giving them Pizza Hut vouchers and Walmart vouchers and EBT and cash moolah. That don't never stall. You know what don't stall? Asian crime bills with only 2 representatives. Yeah. Those don't never stall. You know what else don't stall? LGBTQRSTUVWX. Huh? That don't never stall. And the sources with knowledge of their status said the governor's office has financial concerns that could affect whether or not Newsom signs them. You didn't think reparations was going to cost any money? Then let me explain something to you. It's not reparations then. If it's not a cash payment, if it's not cutting the check, it's not reparations. Sir, ma'am, stop it. Stop letting them fool you. All the tomfoolery is outlandish and disrespectful, y'all. There's more. The Newsom administration proposed changes to Senate Bill 1403, which would create the California American Freedmen's Affairs Agency. According to 3 sources familiar with the proposal, the suggested amendments would have scrapped the creation of that agency, but would set aside $6 million for the California State University system to lead a study of reparations and recommend a process for determining someone's eligibility for them, the sources said. So you need, you guys don't find this ridiculous? They got $6 million that they got. And instead of that, dispersing that, we gonna set that up for either one, a new agency to look into reparations further, who gets the money, or give it to the California State University system, not just one university, multiple colleges and universities within the system, to find out who's eligible for reparations. So we're going to spend $6 million. Understand what they're saying. Let's be clear on what they're saying. Let me make sure you understand, and let me be perfectly clear on what they're saying. They want to spend $6 million, not give it to you, but to find out, to search, more research, who gets the money. We're going to spend $6 million to find that out. Not going to give it to you. No. Here. Let's give it to the California university system. Yeah. Because we know that the education system is oh so fair. We know that. We know it's fair. You know that they're not going to discriminate against Black people. You know they're going to come out with the fair in the middle, right down the middle. You know they're not. But this is what they want to do. I don't think you need to create an agency. One to maybe keep track of the payments, and it shouldn't be filled with nobody who's not FBA. Hello, McFlizzle. We don't need no tethers on it. You don't need $6 million for an agency. You don't. Ask FBA, how much y'all think we need for an agency? How much do you think we need, y'all? Put in the comments, how much money do you think we need for an agency that will disperse the cash payments? Because this agency is $6 million and they are not dispersing nothing. This is not a disbursement agency. It's to find out who may or may not receive reparations. Bradford rejected the administration's proposal amendments and wants to move forward with the bill unchanged. Why not? Jerome Pera, spokesman for the lawmaker, said Friday evening Newsom's office declined to comment on the suggested changes. Why not? The deadline to pass the bill this legislation session is Saturday at midnight. That's today. Still, it has not passed. We have all the votes to pass it. All somebody has to do is bring it up. It'll pass. And then Governor Newsom just has to sign it. That's it. That's how simple this path is. The path to reparations is simple. All he has to do is sign it. But now we're talking about, what about the finances? What about this? Didn't you just have a committee? Didn't you just have a task force to find out about all of that? The effects, the financial effects on the economy and the taxpayers. You just had the crybaby task force to find out what this will cost, the financial implications, the effects on the economy. You just had a task force to do all this. Now you're crying about it's going to cost money. You didn't know that reparations was going to cost money. This is that trick bag language. And now they want y'all to run to the polls and vote for the Democrats and vote, period. Democrats, Republicans, with no one having reparations on the table. You are getting nothing for your vote, Black people. Well, what about abortion? That's for Black people? No, that's for everybody. They're killing the Black babies. What about the babies being killed? I think reparations and cutting the check would help with that quite a bit more than some type of law. Didn't we have the law? Don't we? I'm just saying, right? Wasn't we still in trouble? Weren't they still raping and pillaging and using babies as alligator bait? Huh? So these is the same people you want to go give your vote to for nothing? Huh? Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. You should be insulted. This is disrespectful. Not to give nothing for your vote. Everyone else gets something. And it's no big deal when they ask for it. But let Black people ask for something that is owed. That's what we're asking for. Something that is owed, a debt to be repaid. Assemblywoman Laura Wilson, a Suisun City Democrat and chair of the see, do y'all notice a pattern? This is all Democratic bills. What's the problem? They love you so much, right? They've done so much for you. Look, we got Sanji. They gave us a black Supreme Court justice. They gave us a black vice president. That's not black. They gave us a black the President Obama, who's not black. And this here is Assemblywoman Lori Wilson, Suisun City Democrat and chair of the legislative Black Coon Caucus, said Thursday evening lawmakers were trying to confirm if they had enough votes for the measures. They have enough votes. Tariq Nasheed had a woman on. Go listen to Fam. He had a Twitter space the other night, and they went over this. They have the votes. I have the votes unless someone on the floor is actively working against me, Bradford said Friday through a spokesperson. Do you hear that? He has the votes. I just told you that. Newsom's office on Friday also declined to comment on concerns about the bills. What concerns now? You've been seeing these bills. Why do you wait to the last hours? Why do you wait to the last second? The bills are due by midnight. The legislative session expires on midnight. Why are you just voicing your concerns now? On the last second where they can't be revised, switched up, changed up, right? He know what he doing. Oh, I'll let you go through with it. They put the vote up. Guess what? The time ran out. Time's up. Time's up. Oh, I was going to sign it. But they ran out of you know black people in CPT time. They just were late. They were late now. But in June, he and lawmakers approved a state budget that closed a roughly $47 billion deficit. It included $12 million to help the state implement a series of reparations-related bills lawmakers hope will be signed this year. Okay, so you spent $12 million on reparation-related bills that didn't go nowhere. So that's $12 million. Then you want to spend another $6 million. That's $18 million that you could have already put into a fund and started getting ready to cut the check. That's how simple that is. So you wasted $18 million on what? Exactly. But when immigrants need the money, you ain't got to do a bill. You ain't got to approve it. You ain't got to check out the state budget. You ain't worried about no deficit. You just cut the check. We want the same thing. That's what we want. So far, the legislature has passed several bills that were on a priority list unveiled by the Legislative Black Caucus in January. What bills? What bills? What bills did y'all approve and that y'all passed that are helping black people? You Black Coon Caucus. What did you do? Talk? We got agencies. We spent the money on look-a-hooing. Like y'all that's in here that keep look-a-hooing and you ain't tapping in, saying where you're from. B1 FBA, my brothers and sisters. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Bust down a comment or two. You know how YouTube likes to do. They're going to try to hide this video, and you know somebody in your family or your friend group in your circle that needs to hear this. You know that. Because what you do know is they all ain't coming with us. The two pending bills were not on the list. So the most important bills about getting cashed out weren't on the list in January. That don't sound fishy to y'all? And these supposed to be representatives for us, right? The group's recommendations also did not include cash payments to descendants of enslaved people. Who y'all voting for, man? Who do y'all be voting for? These supposed to be our people. I just showed you that they were Tethers. And y'all be good with this. Y'all worried about making the stallion. You worried about loving hip hop. Huh? Blueface. What's Blueface doing? There are cost pressures related to those bills. You think what's the so what's all these agencies for? Y'all don't look at the economics, the finances of the bill. So what are the bills for? What are these agencies for? What are these committees for? What are these task force for if you're not examining any of that? If you're not working towards getting us cash payments, what are you doing? Who are you working for? These aren't questions. These aren't things that make you go, They just told you. We didn't put them on the bill. We don't think those are important to Black people. They just told you that. They had a priority list. Priority, importance. Those two bills weren't on there since January. Weren't on there. The bills to get cash reparations, they wasn't on there. So what? So what was priority? Williams continued about the pending measures as well as our entire reparations package, and that's why we have been really thoughtful about what we have put forward strategically as a priority. How do you have a reparations package that's a priority that doesn't include cash payments? Are you guys listening to this? Am I the only one bamboozled by this? And my mind is blown. You have a priority list. You're being strategic. You're being thoughtful. So that means you done looked at every detail. You done dotted the I's and crossed the T's, and you thought that cash payments was a no-go. That's not a good idea. Okay. On Thursday, Department of Finance Director Joe Steffenshaw held a closed-door meeting with Bradshaw, Wilson, and staff. After the meeting, Steffenshaw and Bradford both declined to comment when approached by reporters from the Sacramento Bee. Why? Creating the California American Freedmen's Affairs Agency was one of the recommendations of the task force, which spent 2 years studying reparation and issued lengthy reports. And none of this was about money. None of this was about cash payments and reparations. You had a 2-year task force, and you mean to tell me not once did you guys discuss the finances, the economics of cash payments? Are you listening to this? You guys can go look at this yourself if you think I'm making this up. Are you listening to this? They didn't think it was important. It wasn't a priority for them for cash payments. This is the Black Coon Caucus that's supposed to represent you. They didn't think it was important for cash payments. The California Government Operations Agency estimated the agency would cost $3 to $5 million annually to run. Why? Why? Why does it cost that much to figure out? I don't even know what you were figuring out. What did y'all do? If it wasn't to get us cash payments, what did you do? Lawmakers earlier this week passed a bill that would require the agency's legal office to investigate cases of people who said they had property taken away from them as a result of the racially motivated use of eminent domain and help compensate people whose claims are validated. They also approved a formal apology for the role state leaders play. We don't care about that. You mean to tell me y'all put together a reparations task force to talk about apologies? They just told you in this article, priority was not put on cash payments. Thoughtfully and strategically, it was left off. Now they have these two bills trying to push through by midnight today, this is your representation. This is why you want us to go vote Democratic or Republican, huh? So they can continue to play in your face. They're playing in your face, Black people. They are playing in our faces. This is the most ridiculous literature I've read. And we just falling for it. They just told us we ain't gonna do nothing. We wasn't gonna do nothing. We never planned on doing nothing, but we spent $18 million for a task force that did not discuss cash payments. What? And that was a strategy. Okay. It continues. They also approved a formal apology for the role state leaders played in supporting slavery and perpetuating other harms against Black people that, if signed by the governor, would also lead to a plaque being placed in the Capitol. Black people, they spent $18 million to give y'all a plaque in the state Capitol and an apology. These are the gestures you're talking about. Ain't California where this Kamala lady is from? This is who you want us to support? This is it, Black people. They want us to support nothing. That's what this is. Support us because we said so. And we spent $18 million to get y'all a plaque in the state capitol with an apology, if signed. And he's not trying to sign it. Y'all don't even deserve a plaque, Black people. Senate Bill 1331 would create a reparations and restorative justice fund to support policies approved by the legislator and governor. The bill would allow the fund to receive money from federal and state sources, also from private donations and grants, regardless of the cost. Regardless of the cost. Don't say regardless of the cost, and that's not true. It's not regardless of the cost. He's not signing the bill stating financial issues. Well, what did the task force do? They didn't research the financial issues. You don't have a deficit. So what's the problem? What's the problem with signing this? What's the problem? Other than Black people don't get nothing and y'all keep voting for the same people that keep giving you nothing? There's more. Regardless of the cost, the people deserve at least a vote. And if the governor wants to veto the bills, the governor should veto the bills, said Chris Logson, a lead organizer with the Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. He like, just veto the bills then. But we want just and equitable. You got to watch these groups that say they're for y'all. Check the paperwork. Stop just inviting everybody to the cookout. Check paperwork. An organization that has advocated heavily for reparation policies. What are reparation policies? What are those? See, this is what's going on with your so-called reparation bills and everybody speaking reparations. Reparation policies. What about reparations cut the check? How hard is this? It's not. Because immigrants, they get EBT, they get the money in the place to be, they get the gift cards, they get the grants, they get rental assistance, they get home buying assistance. But you didn't have to put that through. You didn't have to spend $18 million to think about it and then say no. It's not a question of do we have the votes or the money. It's do we have the will, the courage, and the power to do. We prioritize the descendants of people whose ancestors built this country in this state. See that? They double talk you. White supremacy always takes both sides, people. If you're going to block it, just block it. If you're going to veto it, just get over and veto it. But this the group that's heavily for reparations policies. And the money, don't worry about no money. Don't worry about the vote. That's what I'm saying. So why ain't it happening then? If you're not worried about the vote, you're not worried about the money, what's the problem? But then in the same sentence you said, that's why you're not signing it, because you're worried about the financial impact. But then you gave $18 million to a task force to research that. and they done. So what's the problem? Sign the bill. They're playing in your face, black people. It continues. This is it right here. This is what they want you to know. We know that you built the country in the state of California. We know that. We don't care. Bradford is in his last days in the legislature due to term limits. Wilson said, if his bills don't pass before the end of the session, it doesn't mean they are dead. Yes, it does. If we don't get it across the finish line this year, trust me, you will see it again. They're not gone for good. So you already gave up. So look how they did. Look, black people, I was for y'all. I put the bills in. I did. It was almost there. It was this close. It was right there, almost. You like the State Farm commercial when he got the thing. You got to be quicker than that. It'll happen sometime, black people. You get another agency to find out who should get reparations. Yeah. We'll get you an agency sometime soon, black people, but not today. And I ain't gonna hold you. I'm just gonna mold you and fold you and scold you about being off code. What did we learn here today, boys and girls? That they're bluffing. This is all a bluff. It's a play for your vote. That's all. This is more Democratic theater, more political theater. Do your research on Senate Bills 1331 and Senate Bills 1403. We will break those down for you. So stay tuned. Make sure you hit that subscribe, you follow, make sure you get all the notifications so you don't miss none of this important knowledge and information. Seriously, we gotta, enough is enough, black people. Love, peace, blessings, and Maloha. I gotta go ha for sure ha. You already know how. Big brother, light bright, supreme, almighty.